Hello, listener. You are tuning into Mellowed L's Gaming Radio Theater. Today's broadcast, Deliadese in the Desert, Session 3.
The embers of a lone funeral pyre smolder behind Deliadese as he leaves the lapping waves of the sea behind him. The warrior Brulo would be carried away as smoke on the wind, and his bones lost to the waves, leaving little but mystery behind him. Who were his friends? How came he to the ship that robbed him of freedom, only to deliver bloody destiny in the arena sands? The answers would not be found here. So Deliadese returns to the land of the living, and to the walls of Silton.
So, when last we left off, after defeating the Cimmerian and earning Ul'Dan a little bit of coin last night, and yourself a chunk of change, though admittedly a little smaller than you were hoping for, but you couldn't really get him to negotiate and give you a number outright. You win your fight against the Cimmerian. You spare his life and just leave him knocked out unconscious in the ring.
Which honestly, I'm starting to regret.
Leaving him alive?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, there's so many ways to turn that. But I feel like if he comes back again, it's not going to go as well for me.
Yes, there is a cost to mercy in the harsh world of these outlaws. So you retrieve the body of Brulo and take him to the shore with Blind Jim to cobble together a fitting funeral pyre. You learn a bit more about his backstory, that he was once a member of a obscure band of martial artists. And with that, as the body of Brulo is now totally lost in the deep embers of the fire, Blind Jim has stood and said that he's going back to Raspy's.
And I would like to go back there as well and take a long rest, because I need to regain my hit points.
That you do. And you used your your second win too.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your health at right now?
7. It was at 4, but something else happened in between where I regained health.
Yeah. So you make it back. You see that not much has changed in Raspy's pad, though there is some illumination. It's like a light blue glow, kind of the same like blue luminescent globe that you saw when he conjured his chromatic orb earlier today to show off to you his abilities. But now it's not. It's more like there's 4 small spheres of soft blue light that are emanating in the corners of the room. And he's just like standing with his hands behind his back, looking at a book that's on the bookshelf. Jim kind of like gestures at arrangements of floor pillows that are kind of tucked behind the desk of the library.
All right, sounds good. Let's go there.
Go ahead and regain all your hit points as you have a uneventful and well-deserved night's rest. However, as you come to, it's too a hurried voice of Jim, and he's shaking you by your shirt, and he's saying, "Come on now, what am I paying you to? What am I paying you to sleep in all morning, huh?"
Thank goodness, I thought there was danger.
He stands up and he's looking kind of impatient. He's got his like hand on his staff and he starts like kind of pacing around and he's going, "Hey, look, we still need to get our provisions to go out into the desert. We gotta find that place. We need to find another set of hands, I think, for out there in the desert because you don't know this place. I don't know this place." He's looking kind of frantic, and he goes, "And you need to start pulling your weight. You need to pull in some money, kid."
Okay, where do I start?
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go wash some dishes.
All right, you let me know how that goes for you. I'm gonna go check out the notice board. I want to ask him what he's looking for in another set of hands.
Two of them, preferably.
That's super helpful, Jim. I'm talking about, like, does he need to be some sort of an explorer, or what are you looking for specifically?
Like, I don't know, kid. This is what I pay you for.
Oh, I'm getting paid now.
He gestures at the leather armor you're wearing, and he goes, "Yeah, you remember I paid for that up front."
That you did. Is there a specific amount of gold that you're looking for, or just as much as possible?
Look, literally just anything. Because due to unforeseen circumstances, we are broke.
Wonderful. Okay, Jim. Then you take care. I'll see you again soon.
He nods and he goes, yeah. I'll see you here tonight, kid.
Sounds good. Do I ask Raspy what happened? I don't think Raspy knows what happened. I'm just gonna go out into town.
Okay, and so you do. It's pretty early in the morning. The sun is not even really up yet, but the light is, kind of in the sky, hitting the dunes in the distance. But you think, whatever must have happened to all of that money that you have won for Blind Jim, it must have happened like last night.
I can imagine what Blind Jim might have used it for. Okay, then first things first, I'm going to stop by Roderick's place.
As you are walking down the market streets, there's not really a lot of people yet that seem to be there, and they're rolling out their blankets, just starting to like put up their stall. And you make your way through the early morning to the market square. The shades are open in Roderick's place.
Okay, then I would like to enter and start up a conversation with Roderick.
Uh-huh. So soon? I heard that you had a flush winning yesterday.
Due in no small part to the weapons and armor that I bought from you. I thought with my winnings I could come and see what else I could afford.
Glad that you thought of me first.
Just show me the wares. I don't have exactly an idea yet of what I want. I don't remember exactly what was there last time.
It's kind of divided into two categories, first of all. Combat arms and armors of different types. You see that there's some pretty nice leather armors that are also kind of pieces of them are shown in different displays. Studded leather armor, gauntlets and greaves and chest pieces.
Oh, that might be worth looking into.
Yeah, the leather armor you had was kind of in the back. He pulled it from somewhere in the back and just said that he thought that was more your speed of where you were financially. Mm-hmm. As far as hand weapons, he's got a selection of like martial arms. He has a long weapons display of pole arms and axes and glaives.
Because what I'm trying to do, I want to see what my options are when it comes to money, because I'm going to go check out the notice boards anyways. I want to get maybe a little bit better armor if I can afford it, and I'm thinking something along the lines of a weapon that could do a little bit more. Does the damage make a difference? Like if I could do cutting damage or like different kind of blunt force damage, does that change the story? Because with the quarterstaff, I'm gonna go on some type of adventure, and I could run into literally anything, like creatures or people or knights or whatever, freaking gigantic sumo wrestling barbarians. That it might be helpful to have also something that keeps them at bay, with slashing damage to be able to. Oh, now I want to sling. No, I think I'm going to go for a bow. I'm going to ask Roderick how much a bow costs.
He turns around and looks up at the bows he has on display. Pulls down a longbow, and that's kind of at the top of the thing, and he looks at it appreciatively, pulls, and it looks like it's a heavy pull. He pulls the bow back and strings it and pulls on it appreciatively, and he hands it to you. Now, this is a piece of most beautiful construction. 75 gold pieces.
That's wonderful. I would love to have it. What else do you have?
He looks up and pulls down another bow. And this is a fine bow as well. It's a short bow, pretty standard. Comes off of the docks pretty regularly. He brings it also. You see it has a much less of a pull on it. He looks it over and he says, 30 gold pieces. And he says, for that cost, I'll throw in a quiver and 20 arrows.
That's a great deal. And I'd love to take it right now, but I had my eye also on some of your other wares. For example, how much is the leather-studded armor?
He says, I see you have a keen eye. From what I've heard, this was pirated from a gentleman who was a leather worker traveling across the seas and unfortunately got himself killed and his wares stolen. 45 gold pieces.
That's a fair price. I love Roderick and all this stuff, but I don't have this money right now. Okay, Roderick, thank you for the information.
He looks at you and he goes, well, seeing as you've only worn that armor for a day and it doesn't look like there's really too much blood stain on it, at least not that wouldn't come off with a little care, I'd take it back for 8 gold pieces.
Actually, I think I'll hang on to it for right now. I did want to see and come and see your wares, but now that I know what I'm dealing with, we will see each other again.
He nods appreciatively. I'm sure you'll return.
Now let's just go look at the notice board.
Yeah, and it's not too far away. As you saw before, you kind of walk right past it. You see that centrally, located at the top of the notice board, a piece of parchment that looks a little finer than the rest. You see that there's a notice posted by the Merchants Guild of the Bazaar.
Ew.
The notice says, any merchant caught trading with Ragabin outside the walls will be lashed in the market square.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds great.
Another notice. Wanted. One kind soul to check on my grandfather, who is ill. Speak to Alicia at the Sponge and Soak. Alicia is actually the nice woman you met, washerwoman you met.
Yeah, at the Beth House. I remember.
Bodyguard seeks employment. Speak to Wayne Wheeler.
Bodyguard that seeks employment. Interesting. Okay.
Bounty on clean beast hides of desert beasts and desert nomad fetishes.
Oh god.
Paying premium for red sand. This is the, in case you didn't know, this is the original meaning of fetishes, as in typically of native tribes, little baubles that they make or put together or that have.
Ah, okay. I was a little bit thrown off there.
Yeah, bounty on clean beast hide of desert beasts, nomad fetishes, and a premium for red sand. And you see that that's posted by Roderick.
Of course it is. Everything that he has is finer than probably other stores, I would imagine. First, take the first one about the guy getting caught trading with a certain merchant,
Yes.
and see what that's about.
You went and spoke to like the merchants around. They might have something to say about that.
That was the plan. I was thinking take that notice and then go into the merchant's bazaar and ask around.
It's still pretty slow at this time of the morning, but the sun is now like starting to crest, like creep above the dunes, and there's a few more merchants now in the streets.
I would go up to the first merchant I saw and ask him about it if he knew anything about this notice.
Yeah, you see him looking like pretty comfortable and luxurious. He's got a strange boiling pot, it looks like, in front of him, with a long hose coming out of it. And while the other merchants around are putting together their stalls, he looks pretty comfortable already, having come here so early to get ready. Approach, he says, "Good morning, gentlemen."
Good morning, good man. I have a question for you.
It is true, my hash is truly the best in the town.
You know, I have a friend that might be interested in that, but I'll tell you who he is after you answer my question.
Certainly, certainly.
I saw this notice on the board. What does it mean?
He's taking a puff on the hookah, and as he looks over at it, he... A dreadful business, truly. I cannot believe that any true believer under the sun would do business with such a cursed one.
Why? What did he do?
He's kind of like sitting cross-legged on his cushion, and he goes to the side, and he spits in the dirt. And he says, "No, he is truly cursed. He walks the desert but can never quench his thirst. His skin is dried. He is like the dead that sometimes wander the sands."
Was there a bounty out for him, or why is no one allowed to deal with him?
It is a bad business. There are certainly some who would see him dead. I just say we keep him out of the city, and we want no truck with his wares.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for the information. My friend's name is Raspy, by the way. I'm sure he'll love your stuff.
Kind of like quirks his head to the side, but nods and says, "Yes, if your friend throat very raspy, then smoke very good medicine."
I'll tell him you said so. Thank you, and have a nice day. And I leave and go to the next merchant.
Hey, buy something next time, cheapskate.
I knew he was going to be upset with me.
And you're moving on?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that there's a woman who's a couple of stalls down is weaving a basket, a stack of a couple others that are around. They look pretty well woven, and they kind of have a couple of different shapes.
And I would say, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question?"
Are you going to buy something?
It depends on the information you give me.
She just kind of doesn't pay you too much mind, and she focuses her hands on the weaving, and she says, "What do you want to know?"
I want to know about this notice on the board and why this man is so hated.
She looks over and kind of squints. She says, "I cannot read that."
What's his name again? Ragin?
Ragabond.
Ragabond. Then I would ask her, does the name Ragabond mean anything to you?
She puts her head to the side and spits. Ragabond goes to places that living people should never tread, and he comes back with strange wares, and he is no man. Not like I have ever seen.
Okay, that's interesting. Where can I find him?
She starts looking pretty nervous and begins looking around. The baskets are 8 silver pieces.
I'll take 2 of them if you tell me where I can find him, or at least where I can start.
Show me the money.
I throw the, how many pieces? 16 silver pieces? I show her 2 gold coins.
Her hand sweeps out, grasps at the coins. Do you let her snatch the coins?
I try and avoid it.
Okay, go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
19. Suck it, old lady.
Oh, damn, dude. You actually just barely beat her.
Really?
Yeah. And you pull your hands back. She says, okay, thank you, please move along.
You didn't answer my question. I'll give you the money.
Basam! That merchant, a couple of stalls down that you were talking to earlier, comes up. Says, what is the meaning of this? What is going on here?
I said, all I want to know is where I can find Ragabin.
Yes, he's trying to ask me what a ragabin is. The man looks furious. Leave this street.
Okay, then I'm gonna drop one golden coin where the lady is, and say, "Thank you for your troubles," and leave.
The man calls back after you. Yes, and do not come back if you want anything to do with that cursed beast.
But that didn't go well. But they told me that he was at the desert.
All that the notice says is outside the walls.
Yeah. I'm curious also if Raspy would know anything about it, but I'll do that later. You know, because he's a djinn and knows about magic and stuff. Maybe he knows something about Ragabin. Then I'll hang on to that note, and then I'm going to go take the other note from the notice board about the grandfather and go talk to Alicia. All right, then I'm going to go to Alicia, and she's nice enough.
So you show up to the sponge and soak. Sure enough, you see the same pleasant woman behind the counter the day before. She sees the notice in your hand and she smiles and, oh, I was hoping you'd check the board.
Good morning. Yes, I did. Thank you. I was wondering about this old man and what he needs.
She looks a little unnerved and she says, oh, well, my grandparents typically try and come into town once a week and say hello. Only a couple of weeks ago, it was just my grandmother that came by and to visit and said that my grandfather wasn't doing so well, and now I haven't seen either.
Okay. And you haven't been able to go out and check on them?
She looks around and kind of puts up her hands, and this is the only thing keeping me and the girls fed.
I take it by girls, she means actual other people that are living there, not that they usually refer to as girls. But
you see that there's a couple of attendants that are there. Like yesterday, she sent basically a maid to go fetch you a robe, and it's just like pretty common. You go in, you get like a hot soak. The maid goes in and fills it for you, and maybe brings you a drink or something, that kind of deal.
Then I would ask Alicia where I could find her grandparents and if she needs me to bring them something. She has something for them.
She nods and kind of like ducks down behind the counter and pulls up like a small oaken chest with just like a simple latch on it. She opens it up and pulls it out, and I've got some herbs from Roderick's shop that I picked out. I'm hoping that it'll help. Seems my grandfather was complaining about his stomach, and she gestures at the box. So this is what Roderick gave me.
Okay. Is there any special instructions with these herbs? How they need to be prepared? Or can I just give them to your grandparents and they'll know what to do with them?
There's a card in the box.
Oh, wonderful. Then yeah, all I need to know now is where do they live, and I'll take it to them.
She tells you that they have a small goat farm outside of the walls, north of like following the shore. You'll see an old lighthouse, and when you get there, just head inland a ways. You should find them easy enough.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll come back and let you know when I've delivered everything safely and how your grandparents are doing.
She looks a little apprehensive about money. Look, I have a good line of credit with Roderick, and I'm sure he could just put some credit against the shop.
That's enough for me.
She kind of like grins with a little relief, and then there's like heavy stomping from like above your head, and she kind of winces. There's a voice from up above who goes, "Oh, what's an ogre gotta do to get a drink in here?"
Who's that?
Oh, just another guest.
Is he here often?
They're all the same, mostly.
That's awful. Okay, well, I better get going. I got a long day ahead of me. Like I said, I'll be back and let you know how your grandparents are doing.
Yeah, she nods and slides the chest over to you.
Take the chest and I make my way out. You imagine me like getting all pissed off, trying to get in this girl's good graces, and I like walk upstairs and decide to kick the shit out of the ogre for no reason.
Not a great way to get repeat customers.
No.
Yeah, you've got the medicine chest. It's a little weighty, but you carry it enough under one arm, or now that you have a pretty versatile adventurous pack, it fits easily enough in there along with your rations and tools.
All right.
Is there anything else you want to try and do in the town walls?
I mean, no, I don't want to be in the town walls anymore. I think I'm just gonna go check on the grandparents, the Omies and Opies. That's how you say it in German.
The main gate of the settlement faces west, and as you step out of it, you're looking directly into the heart of the desert.
And what did she say? I need to go north to a lighthouse on the coast?
You'd be turning right, and as you look that way, you see the desert just continuing as far as the eye can see until you look all the way to the north, and you see the coast, which is just endless sandy beaches, at least so far as you can see here. It's like kind of a cove at the mouth of this flooded river area.
Okay. Am I capable of walking there on my own, or do I need an animal or like a transport?
The way that she described it, given a little more detail, she said that it was about a 5-hour march to the north to get to the lighthouse, and then not too far from that would be her place, or her grandparents' place.
Oh, yeah, that's a long way. There are animals for rent on the outside of the.
Yeah, honestly, sure enough, they're right outside the main entrance of the city.
And what are we looking at?
Do you see that there's several stalls of like animals? Like there's a stable carrying several camels, and there's a stable hand feeding them this morning, it looks like, and pouring out water into a trough for them to drink from.
I walk up to him and say, "My good man, I am in need of a camel, but only for the day."
You pay me for camel for day, take it away forever.
He makes a good point. Is there some kind of collateral that I can give him?
He looks you over and he goes, "I don't know, do you?"
I don't have anything on me. Give him my quarters.
Camel is very useful animal. Carry all sorts of things for you. Carry water. Carry you. Carry a woman, huh?
Huh? You look like big hot shot going down city street on this camel, and he like smacks one of its humps.
Oh, my good man, I just needed to get to the coast over there and to check on some family members.
Yeah, he looks at you and he goes, yes, yes, real sweetheart story.
Just tell me how much it costs.
He looks at you with a appraising eye. Give me 10 gold. You come back today. I give you 8 back.
How do I know that I can trust you then?
You can roll an insight on him.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. 21. It always starts off so high, and then when I need it, it goes low.
And you totally can tell there's an air about him like he's waiting for you to like reject him.
Then I say to him, I give you 10 now, and you give me 8 back when I bring you the camel.
Yes, yeah, that is great deal.
And I put my hand out and say, shake on it.
Yeah, he looks a little surprised and he shoots his hand out and shakes it real fast. And he goes, yes, great deal. I give you best camel for today.
Okay, then I'll give him 10.
He takes the gold and gives you the camel's reins.
Awesome. Okay, then I mount up and go. And we ride.
And we ride. After only a couple of hours, a crumbling old lighthouse. You see that the top of it, like the roof, has collapsed in mostly. But you can see an enormous rusted iron bowl that you imagine might once have carried a bright burning fire.
Ah, okay. Can I inspect the lighthouse in case there might be something there?
Yeah, if you so desire.
I feel like I have the time for that.
Yeah, you've made great time. You were expecting this to take more than twice as long. As you are approaching along the beach, you begin to see it a little more clearly. It's a little far off from the shore, as in it looks like at this time of the tide, the water is coming up to like the base of the tower. But as you ride your camel closer and you're looking around, you see that it doesn't look like the water's too high. It's like maybe knee high, so you could wade out to the tower.
Let's go on an adventure. Let's check out the tower. Do I roll an investigation or something, or do I just walk out there?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation.
Again, 2.
You don't see like at the bottom of the lighthouse like an entrance to it from this side. It looks like you're gonna have to wade out there a little closer to investigate.
Okay, wait, let's do that. Maybe check out the back edge of it, see if there's something on the other side. Do I need to roll another investigation or something?
No, as you dismount the camel, begin to wade out into the waters, and you start getting closer to the lighthouse, and you see that it looks ancient. Go ahead and give me a perception check as you are approaching the tower.
Oh, 19.
Looking at the tower, it looks ancient, and the enormous sandstones that comprise its construction look very smoothly cut. But when you go and look at the rooftop, that's like something that was maybe has been repaired or restored over time, now has just like gone into disrepair, is what you see. And as you're wading around to the other side, you see that there's actually a set of steps that are kind of ascending a little bit. Probably like a good 6 feet is the rise of the own steps, and you see that there's a door at the top of it. You see that there's watermarks you're going like up the steps, and the watermark comes all like above the door, actually, in a couple spots.
So I better make this quick. Let's go inside.
The hinges are broken, and the door is like it's partially wedged open, but at the same time, it looks like the wood has swollen from water and is jammed in the doorway.
Is it light enough to push open, or do I have to break it down?
Well, you could attempt to pry.
Yeah, let's do that.
Then give me a athletics check.
Athletics. 20.
Begin to like feel a creaking and a groaning, and manage to like do another great big heave, and the door just like kind of pops out, and there's like a bit of snapping as part of the door itself breaks. There's a big heavy thump as the door falls backwards into the structure.
All right.
A little bit of debris that kind of falls down in the doorway, and that happens. It's pretty dark inside.
Can I light one of my torches?
Absolutely. As you step inside and you hold your torch high, you see a set of steps leading up into like the darkness above you. You don't see any light coming from up there, so it doesn't look like it's directly open to the top of the lighthouse.
Let's go up the stairs.
There's quite a bit of pooled water. Like down here, it's not as high. It looks like there's just still water that has gotten trapped in here from water rising or rain falling in storms. So you're kind of up to your ankles in water until you take that first step. The steps seem to be made of really, really thick, like old growth wood construction, like hefty beams. So it doesn't feel too unstable down here. So you continue.
Can I run like a insight check or an investigation check or something to see if it's worth it to go up there?
Go ahead and roll an investigation, as now you're kind of looking around this first level.
11.
You're looking around, and you see that there's a couple of crates in the corner of the room, but it looks like they're pretty water damaged. It looks like maybe there was at one point a stack of papers or a ledger of some kind on top of them, but it's so degraded from water exposure.
And this is still on the ground floor?
Yes, that's just you like looking around down there. But you imagine if there's anything that has maybe survived, it would be higher up.
All right, let's go up the stairs, see what happens.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity save.
I got a 6.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. As you're going up the steps and you're kind of like peering at the walls, appears to be a lot of like grime, and as you're kind of like looking at that, you take a step and you don't catch that it's giving way, and there's a heavy creaking and cracking that falls away beneath you. Go ahead and give me one more dexterity save.
19.
When you fall, you basically fall down that like one step, but you successful as you're falling, you catch yourself and you land well enough on the steps that were underneath that, because remember, it's like a spiral staircase. So when you fall through the steps, you land on that, and there's like a scary moment as the impact hits the stairs, and you kind of feel like a kind of like a deep groan, and the staircase kind of as a whole shifts, but it does not give way.
Okay. Continue going upstairs.
Nice. Yeah. So you climb the rest of the steps. You get to like that broken one, gingerly step over it to the one above. It's gross, but you're keeping one hand against the stone wall. So I kind of, and eventually you get to the top of these steps. When you're there, you come to another door. This one appears to be intact, though. It doesn't look like it's had the swelling problems, the original one.
Wait a second. I walk up and try the door, see if it's open.
As you lean up against it, you feel that the hinges move like easily and the door handle mechanism works. But as you try and open the door further, it looks like it's hitting something that's behind the door that you can't see. But as you open the door partially, sunlight comes streaming in. I think this is this must be the top of the watchtower.
Can I run like the investigation check or like a insight or something to see what's more around me, or am I just in an
Roll an investigation.
17?
Well, one option, you imagine you can try and force the door open and try and like just brute force it and push aside whatever's blocking it. But you know that if you do that, you're going to be straining and pushing, but all of your weight is going to be on the steps that you're standing on.
Oh.
So you might have to be careful if you try and just like brute force it like that. You do have a quarterstaff and the door is open a bit. So you could potentially use your quarterstaff as like a lever.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Give me just a straight strength check. You're doing it and it begins to budge some. It's not quite strong enough. You feel like you're doing that, but while you're trying to avoid putting too much weight on the steps, you can't quite do it.
Can I see anything more behind the door in the sunlight?
Go ahead and roll a perception.
19. Lots of 19s today.
Quartet of 19. As you are, you're taking a look through the doorway and you're allowing your eyes to kind of adjust to the sunlight. One thing you do notice on the other side, you see that there's like a natural sunlight, but you also see that there's a strange kind of green light reflected against the stones.
Can I try and force the door again? Just another strength check?
Yes.
8. It's not gonna happen.
As you are pushing against the doorway a second time, you hear the stairs begin to creak in a really unsettling way. I want you to make now one athletics check.
Okay. There we go. 10.
Ooh, dude. You're like, oh God, you hear the steps creaking underneath you, and you think, okay, one more chance, I'm gonna press up against the door. To do that, you hear a snap from beneath you. You hear a metallic snap as though like a bracer or a bracket, rusted and decayed, has just snapped, and the steps are falling out from underneath you. Make a dexterity save to try and keep yourself from falling all the way down this lighthouse.
5.
But okay, well, sorry, them's the breaks. I gotta roll some dice right now. Okay, that's a good roll for you.
It was all going so well.
Last roll. All right. 9 points of falling damage. Like try and scramble out, and you try and like grab at the doorknob as the steps are going underneath. Your hand slips because it still has some of that gross like a mildew on it. Your feet fall down like away from now. So yeah, you plummet down to the ground and land atop a pile of the beams. Luckily for you, though, as the staircase falls, it doesn't all collapse at once like a awful like Jenga tower, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's like parts of the staircase that fall away completely. Your breath is knocked out of you as you land on this beam. Looking down at the bottom of the tower where a lot of the stairs have fallen, you see that the water has risen considerably. The doorway leading out of the tower is about half filled with water. And there's still like water that's kind of like splashing in waves through the now like open doorway. It's filling with water pretty fast.
All right, then we'll leave. The adventure wasn't worth it, but that's how it goes.
Maybe like the sound of maybe some more rubble from up above you. Perhaps there was some more movement that like happened in like the collapsing of the roof above. You look up, but some of the collapsed stairway above you obscuring your view of the doorway, so you can't tell if anything changed up there.
I can't afford to fall again.
You do have. Oh, that's something we need to add to your treasure because you did get to.
2 health potions, yeah. I wanted to take one actually now. Just put 1.
Go ahead and roll 1d6 and add your Constitution modifier.
1. Plus 2, which is 3.
Yeah, so you regain 3 health. You also still have access to your second wind. You can do that once every long rest.
Okay, well 14 is still pretty good. The thing is, I know I'm going to get myself up there and find something, but I don't know how I'm going to get myself out. Because more than likely, by the time I get up there, it's going to be filled with water. I don't want to go underwater, because more than likely, if I haven't already, ruin the herbs that I got for the grandparents.
Well, that's a good question.
Who knows what, because I'm guaranteeing you that the chest isn't watertight. Who knows what the water will do to it. You know what? Let's leave and go to the grandparents first. I can always come back to this lighthouse.
You're about halfway down the tower. How do you want to try and get down the tower?
Well, if I understood it correctly, it was mostly the stairs above me that fell.
There's still stretches of stairs like around you. You can't take a step and start going down the stairs below you. Like huge sections of it that have collapsed. Like some parts that are like kind of intact, but they're like leaning to the inside of the tower. It looks like they're barely hanging on.
Is there anything to grab onto? Is there anything to climb?
There is like some brackets that are kind of more or less evenly spaced. Some of them have fallen down like, attached to the stairs. And those are like a couple of inches of like foot or handholds to climb around. But it wouldn't be too easy.
Mainly what I want is to just get down as fast as possible.
Yeah, you're about like 30 feet from the ground, being 25.
Okay, and jumping from stairs to stairs is probably not the best idea.
If you wanted to like Jackie Chan it down like the remains and just like go for broke, potential for you to fuck up and take damage pretty high.
Question is if the damage would kill me. It probably would.
It's never a bad idea to review your character sheet. You know, your abilities, your stats, your inventory might give you an idea.
I have rope. I'll tie it to the most safe thing that I could find, whether it's like if that's the beam that I'm on, and then climb down.
Okay. Yeah, as you kind of bounce on the beam a little bit, there's a little bit of sound, but it looks like this beam and bracket are anchored pretty solidly still.
I mean, it took my full weight dropping on it from pretty high up, so.
As you get down there, the doorway is almost completely flooded. At this point, there's just like a couple inches of space in the doorway.
All right, then I'll go out underneath the amount of air that I have left and swim to shore.
Okay, give me an athletics check. Oh,
8.
Dude, athletics and strength is your thing, and it totally failed.
Yeah, I know. It's messing me up.
You run into the doorway. You know, being from the island of Crete, you know, you're well used to swimming. But when you get out into the water, you realize you're in full leather clothing with a pretty heavy weighted down pack, like a semi-full pack on your back. You get underneath the doorway, you know, easily enough, and you start swimming to shore, but you quickly realize you're not making very good progress. And now that you are outside, you realize just how far the water has. Because if you'll remember, there was a set of stairs leading up to the watchtower. Water level has risen probably about 12 feet.
So just gonna try and make it back to shore.
Give me another athletics check.
23. Finally.
Oh yeah, nice. You like spit some water out of your mouth, and you just kind of you stop trying to like see above the water, and you just put your head down, and you just start paddling your arms. It took a little bit of getting used to, but now you understand how your body moves with all of this extra stuff on there, and you start making much better progress towards the shore. But as you kind of come up, you see that it's still pretty far out there as you continue to swim for the shore.
9.
Oof. Oh no. Alright, my friend. As you are swimming towards the shore, you're getting closer. You're making like a slow progress considering all that you're making, but you see yourself getting closer to the shore, and you're not gassed yet. But as you're like looking up to try and take another look towards the shore, you suddenly feel a great deal of pain in your leg.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, bubbles like escape your mouth as you look underwater and back towards your leg, and you see a reef shark has bitten your calf. Its teeth has sunk deep into your skin. Take 7 points of damage.
Okay. This has been a wonderful adventure so far. I think I need to get it off me. I think I'm going to attack it.
All right. How are you going to do it?
Punch it, I guess, in the nose?
Yeah, unarmed strike.
Okay. Run 20. 16. Plus 3 is fine.
You wheel around in the water and manage to punch it square in its nose, and you see that it like recoils, whips its fin around again, and its jaws are going to snap at your arm that you like punched it with.
Oh, okay.
It's just like the tips of its jaws clamp onto your arm. It doesn't get its jaws all the way around, and you see that they basically just pierce your leather armor.
Okay.
It's your turn.
I'm going to strike it in the eye.
Roll to hit.
10. And then is that a hit?
With a +2, that barely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Ooh, a green 6 plus 3?
Roll your additional unarmed strike.
8.
You twist your fist and you jab it directly into the shark's eye, and you feel your knuckle pierce the eye totally, and there's like some of its like jelly like starts to float like out into the water, and it's actually its tail is gonna whip away. It looks like it's gonna about to retreat. So as it's like whipping around away, you got another free hit, my dude.
Is that worth it to stay here and kill it?
That's up to you, my dude.
Or like to attempt to kill it? Because I really am hurting and I need to get back to the shore. And now there's blood in the water. I'm getting out of here, man. I'm swimming back to the shore.
All right, give me an athletics check.
Don't you feel me now? 22.
Oh, yeah, 22.
Get me the hell out of here.
You see it like whip around, and you're just like, not gonna waste this opportunity. And Deliadese' attitude of screw sharks, you bullet. And sure enough, one time that you're stroking and you're kicking, your foot touches sand. It's not far away at all. You're maybe 15 feet from the shore.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Oh, the shawl?
You're looking around at the shore, and you see your camel.
Then I would walk to the camel and head to the grandparents' place.
You like go to mount onto the camel. You look back over towards the lighthouse, and you see 4 shark fins in the water.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, dude, you low-key really made a good choice to keep swimming.
I bet.
And with that, you turn the camel away from the coast and begin to head inland.
All right, let's go see Grandma and Grandpa.
Okay, so one thing to consider is like that was a little more harrowing of an adventure than you maybe thought. You're a little banged up and bruised. So other than the health potion, one thing you can do is you can take a short rest
Okay.
that you can have like in a day. And you get that so long as you are well rested and you have food. So if you take a short rest and consume a ration and tend to your wounds a bit, you can regain an additional 1d8 of health.
Okay. Let's do that. Oh, that's a 2. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a short
Mhm.
rest. 1.
So regain 3 health points.
Okay. Bop, bop, bop. Is the consuming the ration, is that a part of that? Or how does that work?
So I guess you don't necessarily have to, but you haven't eaten yet today. Yeah, no, just go ahead and remove 1 ration.
All right. And then after a short rest and tending to my wounds, and it freaking not doing anything, then we head on to the grandparents.
And so you do. It's mostly just a lot of sand out here. After walking for about 20 minutes, you crest over a dune and you see a simple structure. Looks like it's partially made like some stone you can see around like a foundation. Some really, really weather worn wooden planks, a rough fence that looks like it was cobbled together with driftwood. Some movement like in the pens, but the sun is kind of in your eyes. Go ahead and roll a animal handling check for me.
8.
As you start to like go down the sand dune and start to approach the homestead, your camel, and you kind of like try and nudge it more towards the stead, and it starts to like spit and make weird noises. That was my camel impression, by the way.
It was pretty good.
Thank you. Slobbers a big old like spit like onto the ground. You try and like nudge it towards it, but it doesn't want to move.
That's fine. I'll go on foot. Actually, before that, I'm gonna run a perception check on what the things around me, because maybe the camel heard or smelled something he didn't like.
What you do see is you're like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to go near the animal pens. And now that you're a bit closer, as your camel has carried you a bit closer to the homestead, you see that the animals that are in the pens, it looks like there's about a dozen goats in the pen.
Something's starting to tell me that I'm not actually in the right place.
Well, she did say that they were goat farmers.
All right, then I will continue the rest of the way on foot if the camel does not want to be helpful.
Stinking camels. Continue on foot past the animal pens, and you see the animals in there. They're kind of looks like they're spread out in a couple of different groups. You see the doorway to like the house in front of you, and it's like a pretty simple structure. There's a little bit of like a roof awning just like over the doorway. There's a lot of like blown sand across the ground all around the doorway.
All right, and I would walk up and knock on the door.
And there's no immediate response.
Then I would call out, "Hello,
Yeah. Hello?
hi, your granddaughter sent me. What was her name again? Alicia. Alicia sent me.
There's a silence from the inside. Oh, Alicia. How wonderful. But can't take any visitors right now. Seems like it's a older, like shakier woman's voice on the other side.
I tell her I have medicine.
The door creaks open a little bit, and you see a very like hunched figure, a woman with white hair. She's like reaching her hands with her palms up and her like hands up, and she goes, "Oh, what a sweet granddaughter I have."
Yes, that's right. And then I would take out the box.
She begins to reach out for the box, and she kind of like hunches over and she clutches at her stomach, and she kind of like backs back into the doorway. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I feel terribly ill. I think I got whatever poor Philip was feeling.
May I come in and prepare this for you?
Oh, the house is such a dreadful mess.
The house should not be concerning you. Your health is what's important.
It looks like she's going to protest, but she clutches at her stomach. All right, thank you. You're so kind. And she backs away from the door, and you easily like push it aside. It's like pretty dark inside. It looks like the shutters are kind of like drawn, but there's still some light that's shining in from behind the curtains.
All right. I would run a perception check to see what else I can find around me, if there's like a tea kettle or something.
Okay, go ahead.
13.
First of all, the house it's pretty messy. It looks like it hasn't been, tended to very well for the past like week, you would say. Like there's a good amount of dust on like the surfaces and things, but when you go into the kitchen, you see that like there's a small little fireplace with a grating on it. There, sure enough, is a kettle, close at hand.
Okay, then I would immediately get to work using the things that they have around the kitchen to start a fire and get some water boiling.
The woman sets herself down like on a simple like sofa kind of thing. Oh, and be sure to make more for my husband.
Don't you worry, ma'am. I'll take care of the tea.
As you busy yourself with that, it looks like she just kind of zones out and she groans like occasionally. After a while, you find her tinder box and get some water boiling. Once you have the fire going and the pot going, you look over at the woman and it looks like she's nodded off to sleep.
Oh, okay. Then I would go check on the grandfather. Was there a door in the room?
But yeah, there is a back door that looks like it leads to the back side of the ranch.
Then I would go investigate.
Yeah, let's see it, boy.
Investigation or perception?
It would be a perception as you step outside and look around.
Okay. 19.
Oh yeah. You're out in the desert, but as you step out the back door, you see that there's a shed and a small stable back here. Yeah, with a 19, one thing that hits you as soon as you step back here, there's a real foul smell.
I don't like where this is going. Freaking. You know what's going through my head right now? Grandma has a stomach ache because she ate Grandpa. That's what's going through my head right now, which is terrifying. Then I would investigate the foul smell.
You get to the stable, you look inside. It looks like this is a station where maybe they might milk the goats. Some heavy piles of like manure around that are pretty dried up, and it doesn't look like the stable is the source of the smell.
Okay.
And as you approach the shed, the door is kind of like open. You can't see inside, but
Oh, finally, a door that's open. Yeah, I will go and investigate the shed.
especially as you walk up to it, you like kind of swing the door open a little bit. The smell like really hits you. That this is clearly like a rotting flesh. So yeah, it's just kind of like partially ajar in the wind. As you open it totally, you look inside. It looks like a pretty simple like work shed. There's some hand tools on the walls. There's some hay in the corner. By the workbench, you see the source of the smell. It is pretty horrific. You see like the rough outline of a human body, but it's looks torn from the inside out. Is the first thing you realize.
Oh no. I check behind me.
You look over your shoulder. The door is still closed behind you.
Oh, I'm inside the shed now. Okay.
Yeah.
I inspect the body. Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
13.
You wrinkle your nose as you come up closer to inspect. You see, first of all, the stomach totally caved out. The ribs are burst open and hollow. When you get up to the arms, it looks like the bones and tendons were ripped out, as in there's really only a hollow husk of skin behind where the arms were. So you basically have like a rotting husk. Can't tell precisely, but it looks like maybe it's been 2 days, maybe 3.
That's disgusting. And now I'm dealing with freaking skeleton monsters? It feels like, what do? I leave the shed immediately.
You like back out. You kind of like look around you, and there's nothing like apparent that has changed. No lurking monster has appeared.
And then I would go back into the house.
And you do so, and you hear the sounds of the whistling kettle. See that a woman has come up to the fireplace, and she's just standing over the stovetop, staring at the kettle.
Okay. Then I would keep my distance and try and start up a conversation with her. Say hello.
Yes. If you find Philip.
Was that a question? What'd she ask?
Did you find Philip?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, he's been out there, always out there taking care of the goats. Always taking care of the goats.
I thought I heard that he'd been sick.
Goats gotta eat.
Why don't you take a seat and I'll get that tea ready for you?
We gotta eat.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Why don't you take a seat? Let me get that tea ready for you. Hello?
Sorry, I'm rolling dice right now.
Oh, of course you are. Freaking... Is it too late to prepare myself for an attack?
Well, I mean, the dice are already kind of rolled, partner.
Okay.
That being said, you're not entirely off guard. You're alert. So go ahead and give me a perception check.
13. Again.
Yeah, you're a woman. Like, you're really on edge and keyed up. And the sound of kettle is just like howling. And it's kind of like driving you crazy, the sound of the kettle. And you're too focused on that to hear the creaking in the ceiling above you.
How high of a perception do I need to roll every single time to be able to catch stuff?
Hey, well, that being said, this is the first time someone snuck up on you.
Yeah, but like my perception rolls are like 90% of the time. Besides the 119, pretty low.
Well, maybe you can look for that in an ally.
Oh, yeah. I should probably get allies before I just start running off by myself and doing stuff. But yeah, we're in this situation now. What kind of eater is crawling its way around the ceiling?
You're so focused on the woman. A sudden creaking above your head is just too late of a warning for you, as you feel a heavy weight land on your back, and 2 thin, grasping fingertips dig their talonous fingers into your face and drag them across your eyes and cheeks.
Ugh.
Take 4 points of damage as the claws rake across your face.
Alright. I would like to use my second wind ability.
Okay, it's going to be 1d10 plus 1 health that you get back. Come on, let's get a good number.
8.
Yeah, not bad. 8.
That's not
health.
bad. Alright.
You whip around and you manage to knock this creature off your back, and as you turn to face it, and this is, by the way, turns your back to the old woman, just letting you know.
I was gonna say.
As you turn to face the creature, you see the exposed bone musculature in the arms, right?
Yeah.
grotesque at its surface. For its torso, it seems very rubbery, with a distended belly and no legs really. It's basically resting on its talonous fingers, just exposed muscle and bone fingers, which have grown unnaturally long and sharp.
It's like some kind of vampire.
While it's like standing on its hands, it's maybe like 3 feet off the ground.
Okay.
Like some of the skull is kind of in pieces. Its face is just sagging and bloody. It's all skin has like been shed apart from it. It's just it's pretty horrific.
Initiative. Okay.
He got the sneak attack on you. No.
7.
Actually beats him by 1.
Oh, thank goodness. So, I am going to, because if I got it right, I came back into the house from the back door, and I was looking at the grandmother in the kitchen, and I was attacked from behind, and now I've turned around, and the grandmother is behind me, and I am facing the monstrosity. I'm going to move towards the left, and in a retreat, and get my back to like a wall where I can see both the grandmother and the creature.
Okay, yeah. And you do that, and as you back up against the wall, the creature walking on its hands approaches you more. Jaw, which seems like barely connected by the tissue, is just like chattering, just like an intangible, mad way.
I would like to, because now, if it's in my head the right way, the fire is behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to try and knock him back into the fire.
The old woman, as you can see her, as you positioned yourself, she's still like facing the kettle. The sound of the whistling kettle is still going. She seems to be having like a coughing fit. She's clutching at her stomach.
Yeah. This is a case of life and death, and I want to be nice to Elise, but at this point, I'm terrified. The old woman's probably going to explode into another one of those things, and I don't want to deal with it. So if I even have a chance to set this thing on just absolute holy fire, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, so, but unfortunately, it's kind of like, imagine a bee in front of you. You've got your back to the wall, and on one hand, on your left, is this current monstrosity, and on your right is the woman in front of the stove, in front of the fireplace. So,
okay.
You know, you could, I mean, if you wanted to go and push the woman into the fire, now would be a great time.
I don't really want to push her into the fire. Can I go in for a grapple with this thing?
Absolutely.
Throw it into the fire? Okay, then I'm going to do that.
Dude. Because like I said, it is like frame-wise much smaller, you know, than you.
Yeah. I mean, I could pick up Brulo pretty easily, so I have to be able to throw something.
Oh yeah, for sure. You rush over to it and you grab it by its shoulders, which, by the way, is disgusting, because as soon as you grab it, you're just like grabbing exposed bone, fiber, and tendon, and your hands are immediately bloody and sticky as you grab it. And its hands reach out and starts like trying to claw at you and try and free itself.
Can I immediately throw it, or do I need to like struggle for the? Okay, now it's his turn to try and break out, or what?
Yeah, not gonna cut it. Its claws come up, and they manage to get. They're so thin they get underneath your leather armor, and they scratch enough. You don't take damage, but it's enough to make you let go and drop it. As it like drops out of your hands, it reaches out and it rakes its claws against your chest, but it does not penetrate your armor.
I'm in a bad position again. I'm gonna kick it in the head.
Okay. Roll a d20 +2. Oh, buddy. Okay, so this being your first natural 20, here's what you're gonna do. Go ahead and roll your damage, your 1d8.
Okay. 1d8. Oh, that's wonderful.
No. So that plus your strength. So plus 3, that's a 6. Now go ahead and roll again.
The 1d8 again?
Mm-hmm.
7.
Plus 3, 10.
That's
So
not...
16 damage. Yeah, you roll twice for nat 20s.
Oh, I thought it was just because I could do 2 unarmed strikes.
No, in fact, now you can go ahead and roll your unarmed strike.
Oh,
Roll
interesting.
to hit.
The 1d20 again?
Yes.
1.
Yeah, that's a big miss, my dude. Yeah, you punt it very successfully, and it goes flying up against a piece of furniture, and it actually hits its squishy head against the post. You go to run and follow it up with another kick, or maybe perhaps to stomp on it, but you rush forward too quickly. Your foot flips and on the carpet, and you fall prone to the ground.
This is just all kinds of roller coasters. Is it not dead? I freaking smashed its squishy brain all over the place, and it's not dead.
No. When you see that, and especially from your perspective, as you fall onto the ground and you look at it, kind of stirs after hitting its head on the furniture. You see that there's a lot of blood and dark fluid that's beginning to come from its brain. Immediately begins chittering straight towards your face. It's no longer walking on its hands anymore. It's laying flat on the ground, and now its hands, still with a disgusting agility, begin rapidly tearing across the wooden floor towards your face. And because you are prone after your natural 1, he has advantage. That's a miss. That is also a miss.
Oh, thank goodness.
And that's why that 1 point of armor class can pay off. Yeah, so it begins chittering directly at you, but you sweep its hands away just in time, hold it off at bay as it comes towards you. It is your turn. You can stand up, but how that works in combat is it burns half your movement speed. So you can move 30 feet in a turn, but if you have to stand up, now you can only move 15 feet this turn.
Okay. Well, then I will stand up immediately, and then raise my quarterstaff and try and crush it with an overhead blow.
Hey, roll to hit.
The 1d20, right?
Correct.
10.
Fortunately, not enough. As it scurries aside, just barely enough that your quarterstaff lands solidly on the planks of the floorboards. Go ahead and roll your other unarmed strike.
Okay. Another 10.
So it scurries to the side of your quarterstaff strike. Again, chitters to the side as you try and stomp on it.
Going fight overhead. Just can't get him.
Take 4 points of damage as he rushes forward and his claw talons wrap around your ankle, and you feel his claws barely avoid your Achilles tendon and break the back of your calf.
My guy's gonna need some serious hospitalization after all of this. Yeah, then I will attack again and try and stomp on its head. Roll 20. A natural 20?
Dude, another one.
Damn.
Go ahead and describe your killing.
Just a really large stomp right on its disgusting head, just from the top down.
Whatever this black sludge that is holding this monstrosity together and controlling this nervous system, as you bring your foot crashing down on it, all of these loose parts of the skull give way. Your boot easily just flats it. The musculature quivers for a while and then goes still.
I am going to take my healing potion immediately.
As you uncork the bottle and begin drinking it. And you're like, God damn it, can we take that kettle off of the stove? Because it's still just howling, whistling. And you turn around and see the woman is in the process of being torn apart from the inside out. As her skeleton looks like it's ripping its way out of the skin. And her fingers begin clawing. Just starts shredding herself like a paper shredder.
What do I roll for the health potion?
That's a d6 plus your constitution.
The d6 plus my constitution.
Yes.
So 1d6, 2 plus my constitution, 2. I got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I knew that this was going to happen with the old lady. It does not surprise me, but I'm really struggling here to see if I'm even going to live through all of this.
Yeah.
Is she still like struggling with herself, or is it her turn now, or do I have to run initiative?
It looks like this creature is pretty occupied in birthing itself.
That's disgusting. Yeah. I'm gonna run up and, because she's still in front of the fire, right? I'm gonna run up and Spartan kick it into the fire.
Oh yeah. All right, go for it.
So I have to roll the 1d20, right?
Yeah, with advantage because this creature is very occupied.
20. A natural.
Are you serious? Is this seriously your third natural 20, dude?
It's not. I'm not typing it in. That's just what's happening. It's about time that things started going my way.
Man. Yeah, dude, and you successfully do that. Go ahead and roll your unarmed strike damage.
The 8 or the 6? What's the difference?
The 8 is, say, if you're using your quarterstaff with both hands, or you are unarmed.
Oh, okay. And the D6 is just like a...
That's your unarmed for your secondary monk attack.
Oh, okay. Well, then 1d8. An 8.
Dude!
Plus what?
3. Plus 3, your strength.
Okay.
Roll another d8.
6. 9.
So 9. So 20 damage. And now I'll go ahead and roll some fire damage.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta kick somebody into a fire.
Yeah.
Okay, an additional 5 points of fire damage. As you kick this old woman skeleton monster into the fireplace, the hot kettle finally quits its howling as it spills onto the woman. The scalding hot water begins burning it as the fire begins immediately cooking the whole top half of its head and shoulders.
Yeah, just I guess I would stab it with the back end of my quarterstaff and make sure that it stayed in the fire.
Yeah, kind of hold it down with your quarterstaff as it thrashes for a little while until finally it goes still. It stinks in here pretty bad.
All I can think to myself is, what am I going to tell Elise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then, well, now that that's over, I'm going to examine the house.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation.
Dude! There's no way. Are you seeing this right now?
Dude. Okay. We're both going to go up to the corner, and I want you to refresh roll 20 because that is ridiculous, dude. Another natural 20, dude.
There's no way. Here, wait a second. I'm actually going to refresh.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's gonna count. But if the algorithm is messed up, then maybe this will stop you from rolling straight nat 20s. But hey, sometimes that's how it goes.
Oh, man. I really needed that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, what the polar opposite of your lighthouse adventure.
I wasn't going to live through much else.
Mm-hmm. The structure of the place is pretty simple. It looks like it's been pretty neglected for the last couple of weeks, like you noticed earlier. There's a lot of of humble things, but you see that like the mantle above the fireplace with the smoldering remains of your and like it's actually the first thing you notice as you look up from you lift up your quarterstaff from holding down this monster. Is you look at the mantle of the fireplace, and you see that it looks like there's a like an antique pocket watch, and you see it's of fine quality and very very clear crystal glass. It looks like, and silver. And it looks like there's a few other mementos on the mantle that look like maybe like heirloom pieces. Other than that, the dwelling is pretty simple. In the bedroom, you do find, however, as you go into like the bedroom and you kind of like poking around, like you're giving things a pretty thorough search after this monstrous encounter. You're like straight up checking under the bed and in the closet for monsters. And when you look in the closet, you see that leaning against the inside is a longbow.
Dick, I'm taking it.
It looks like has been pretty well taken care of, at least compared to other things around here, in that it looks like it's well worn. You see that like where the hand goes it is smooth and like oiled just simply from years of being handled. It looks like it's pretty good quality.
I want to take the piece on the mantle as well, the first one.
Yeah, so you do.
Probably give it back to her.
As you go into the bathroom, there's a medicine cabinet in there. Like kind of on the top shelf, in the back, you see a vial of potion that looks very similar to the one you purchased from Roderick.
Taking it.
Than that, there's like the typical things you'd find around a household. And you know that there's tools as well in the shed in the back, as well as some feed for your animals. I mean, there's also a bunch of goats out there, too.
I'm not going to herd the goats across the desert with me all the way back. I tried exploring one lighthouse. It almost killed me. But I mean, having goats out there is not the worst thing in the world.
As you finish up looking around the abode and you pick up a few things for Alicia, and you get ready to open up the front door, and you see the goat pen through. You see that several of the goats are now merely bloody hollows of themselves.
You've got to be kidding.
Crawling through and over and under the fence line are 5 more of those monstrosities, now made of goat.
What are these things?